Sunny ways, my friends. Sunny ways.
Your 16 seconds are up. I'm going to ask you again, because nobody believes you when you say you don't know how much money your family has got from the wheat group. You've had a month to look into that. You knew you were going to testify here. Again, how much money total have your brother, mother, and spouse received from this organization? How much?
That information has been publicly shared. I will highlight.
Well, then tell me what it is.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
We have recently switched to drinking water bottles out of water out of when we have water bottles out of plastic. Away from plastic towards paper, like drink box water bottles, sort of thing. Sorry.
The servicing costs on the debt that you're going to have to carry that you're adding to now, right?
Interest rates are at historic lows, Glenn.
There's the funds.
On the topic, I mean, in terms of your sort of strategy currently, you're obviously taking the populist pathway.
What does that mean? Oh, Justin, you're awake. You made it. Have a seat. Have a coffee. You need some. Wakey time.
Let's cut that Disney Plus subscription. So we cut it. It's only $13.99 a month that we're saving, but every little bit helps.
A lot of people would say that you're simply taking a page out of the Donald Trump book.
Which people would say that?
Well, I'm sure a great many Canadians, but...
Like who?
I don't know who, but...
Well, you're the one who asked the question, so
yeah.
You must know somebody. Yeah, that's all that's coming off. There's nothing else coming off, yeah. I'm not Justin Trudeau here. Let's fucking go!
Let's fucking go.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Fringe. Welcome back to the Fringe. It's been a long day. I don't know if anybody's ever seen this before or if this happens to be. It seems everybody is streaming tonight because of what is happening in politics. Make sure, if you're in the stream, if you're in YouTube, hit that thumbs up. Let's get everybody in here that we can, because we got a lot to talk about tonight. I hope you guys are all doing well. I hope you've all had a great day today. Hope you've all enjoyed the early Christmas that's bestowed upon us, because whether or not Justin is gone, he's gone. It's done. We're just running out the clock at this point. An election is coming. It is coming before October, and I'm telling you right now, don't say I didn't tell you so. I'll be waiting for everyone's apologies that said, you're just like all the rest, Derek. It's not going to happen. You're calling it out of context. It is happening. It's going to happen. And we've got a lot of breadcrumbs that are leading to that. And I'm going to point that out tonight. But while we're here, let's jump in. We didn't do a roll call earlier today. I know a lot of people complain about the roll call as of late, but you guys like it, don't you? I think the viewers like the roll call. They like the roll call. My viewers are the best viewers on the planet. They love their roll calls. They love chiming in, doing their roll calls, okay? They like doing it. Let's get you guys eating the dogs, eating the cats. Let's get an old-fashioned roll call going on. Let's see if we can get one person from every province in the country watching the live streams. That's my terrible Trump. Let's get it going on. Get those thumbs up in the streams, people. Let's do a usual roll call. People be damned. Let's do what makes you guys happy. Let's get Daryl and Lynn starting in from Northern BC. It's great to have you in here. Remington Ball coming in from Edmonton suburbs. Welcome in. Great to see you. We've got Lawrence coming in, 100 Mile House from BC. Welcome in. It's great to see you here. We've got the Blob Inc. coming in from Prince George, BC. John coming in from Muskoka Lakes, Ontario. Welcome in. We've got Vox coming in from Port Colborne, Ontario. Welcome in. We got OCD from Vavenby. Sorry, I always say Vavenby. British Columbia. Thank you so much. We got Ingrid and Charlie joining us today from good old Okotoks, Alberta. Welcome in. Great to have you in. It's good to have you back. We've got Reg chiming in from Mexico. Good to have you in here, buddy. Justin coming in from Nova Scotia in the house. We've got Cryptomania coming in from Victoria. Great to have you in here. Mike Freedom Honey, champion, absolute champion, coming in from Beaver County, Alberta. Welcome in. Great to have you here. We got Mike TV Dub reporting in from North Winnipeg, home of Kevin Lamoureux. Yeah, welcome in. Great to have you. Who else we got? We've got Janet. We couldn't forget about Janet coming in from Belleville, Ontario. Silver Energy coming in from Lethbridge, Alberta. Welcome in. Great to have you here. We got William coming in from Southern Manitoba. Lauren asking, is it time for Justin to take a walk in the snow like his dad did? Not quite yet, but we're going to get into where it's going, at least for now. We got Peter coming in from Forestburg, Alberta. Aquadude. It's almost Aquaman, but it's Aquadude coming in from the Peg, my hometown. Welcome in and great to have you here. We got Aaron coming in from Red Deer, Alberta. Remy coming in from Mississauga. We got Rex from Tabor, Alberta. Welcome in. Good to have you here. I almost said John McLean. Mr. McLean. John McClellan coming in from Terrace, BC. Great to have you here. Mr. Scoots coming in from Barrie, Ontario. Daryl saying it should be a national holiday when this corrupt, incompetent clown resigns. It's going to be a global party, and not just for Canada. When I say global, I mean global. The world hates Justin Trudeau. We're going to get into that tonight. Martin coming in from Williams Lake, BC. Gorgeous town. Welcome in. Great to have you here. We got Goad coming in from Red Deer, Alberta. Did that hurt? Not too much, but it's coming in from Winnipeg. Welcome in. It's great to have you here. Crypto, I'm going to get into this very long comment. I get it. I feel your pain. I agree. Again, we'll get into it tonight. Tracy coming in from Vancouver Island. We got Jordan from PEC, Ontario. Welcome in. Mary from Caroline, Alberta. Welcome in. I hope Trump makes Canada great again. He's going to make it so great. It's going to be amazing. I know a lot of countries out there in the world, but only Canada is the best. It's the best, believe me, because it's right next door to America. God, my Trump needs some work. I'm exhausted tonight. I apologize, guys. Kevin coming in from St. Albert. Oh, my God. St. Albert in the house. You know what really grinds my gears? Not Luca coming in from Burnaby, BC. Oh, it was my bad. I was sending a tweet. Vox, did Trudy sign up for MAID yet? No, but we're getting close. Speaking of which, I feel bad. I had to remove some viewer comments today during the live stream question period because people were talking about Trudeau unaliving himself and things. Guys, we got to keep it clean. It screws up the channel. It's not that I'm a stickler. It's we don't want the channel getting harmed by those things. Nita saying, I love your Trump impression. It's one of the best. I appreciate it. Eating the dogs, eating the cats. Daphne Devine, she certainly is. Welcome in. Great to have you in here from good old Calgary. Min coming in from Calgary. Tammy coming in from Ontario, or Oshawa, Ontario. CB jumping in once again from Alberta. CB, welcome into the stream, my friend. That's only speculation on Trudeau leaving before he gets kicked out of office in October. We're going to get into it, guys. I got to get ahead. We're going to shorten down the roll call a little bit. Daphne is doing an awesome job as a mod. I do have to give her up. I do got to give it up to Daphne. She does a great job. I know a lot of mods on YouTube, but Daphne's one of the best. She's one of the best, believe me. There's good mods, there's bad mods, but Daphne's one of the better mods. I've seen a lot of mods. Let's get into what's happening, shall we? Because I already see it in the comments when the stream's over. I had to watch for 10 minutes, dude. I know people get mad when I make fun of things. I'm just having fun, guys. Come on. We're here to have a good time. Okay? She loves some Trump. Loves him. He's a great guy. He's the best. He knows all the best deals. We could even do the dance. Little bit of Trump dance because Justin Trudeau is coming to an end. We're going to get into it. Let's go. Let's get the good old browser up for you guys. Some sad news. Almost sad. The pleb reporting out. Let's see here. Let's see if I can make that a little bigger for you guys, can we? Trudeau announces he will reflect on whether he wants to remain as prime minister over the holidays. His father famously took a walk in the snow and resigned as PM of Canada. Will Trudeau take a walk in the sand and resign? While that is a statement of statements, I think that first off, Trudeau's got some balls. I don't care how he sits. You got to admit the guy's got some cojones to sit there and essentially have his entire party collapse today. Chrystia Freeland, I do not like this woman. I do not like what she did to Canadians. I hope she ends up in a jail cell. But you got to admit she was very, very strategic about how she went about leaving her post as finance minister. What a blow. But for Trudeau to sit back after an emergency caucus meeting, after hiding from the House all day under his bed with his phallus-shaped pillow, I hope that's okay for YouTube. He shows up for an emergency meeting tonight and comes out like nothing's happened. No big deal. It's no big deal, guys. Right? Everybody's telling him to get out. His own party's telling him to get out. His ministers are quitting. Sean Fraser said he's not sticking around. Freeland's gone. All these people are leaving. No, I'm gonna stick around. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna battle it out. Trudeau's economy. I meant to make you a mod as well. Another great viewer. He's been here since the beginning, guys. Trudeau's economy's been here from the beginning. It's no big deal. Donald's only threatening 25% tariffs. No big deal. It's a big deal. The ship is sinking. Here's where it's over. And here's where people are going to say, don't be clickbaity. Don't talk about all these terrible things. I'm almost doing Trump again. Many people speculated today that Justin Trudeau was going to prorogue Parliament and then come back for an election. The election's happening, guys. And just as I predicted, you guys remember back in the summer, I said to you guys, and I've been saying all along, the heads are going to bite each other off. It's going to get bloody. You're going to see a lot of crazy things happen. And then we're going to see a winter break. Trudeau will either prorogue Parliament until after the winter break, or we'll just see them run out the clock until winter, and they'll come back. Jag will get his pension, and they'll call an election. And everybody said, you're so naive, Fringe. You're just like everybody else. You're drawing straws. It's not going to happen. It's never going to happen. We're going to go to October. Jump off a cliff. You name it. It's come my way. Well, what if I told you? What if I told you it's happening? The fool still doesn't know they already hit the iceberg. Well, they're going. The boat's broken in half. I heard 60 MPs today told Trudeau to beat it. I've heard it was more than that. I mean, when you combine the other parties, let's take a look at what the pleb's showing here. NDP says that they're ready to vote non-confidence at the end of February, early March. Fancy that. Hilarious timing considering Jagmeet Singh qualifies for his pension on February 25th. The corruption of these people is absolutely unreal. Now, I'm not going to play the audio clip because it just says the same thing that we've just read. But this is what I was saying, is that even if they were to call an election now, right now, of course, nobody's going to campaign over Christmas. Nobody's going to campaign during the holidays because, well, they all want their breaks. Don't forget, all of these guys got to come back in February and vote themselves a raise. So they're not going to want to have an election until all that's said and done. But even if they called it today, Jag gets his pension. There wouldn't be an election in time for him to not qualify at this point. So it's happening. The election is happening. Anybody who props up Justin Trudeau, even if it's Jagmeet Singh at this point, is torpedoing their entire party. They're putting their party in non-party status. We've already seen in Nova Scotia what happened with the NDP. They almost lost their party status. People in Canada are fed up. Now, ideally, what the Liberals were trying to do today, what these MPs tried to do by telling Trudeau to take a walk in the snow, is pull him out and replace him with a new Führer. I mean, a new leader. Geez, it's so easy to slip those up these days. They want to replace him with a new leader, like Carbon Tax Carney. so that he can come in and try to convince everybody in Southern Ontario, everybody in Quebec who's turned on the Liberals because of Justin, that, hey, there's a new face to the party now, and I'm not going to be like Justin. I'm not going to bury the country. Trust me, everything's fine. I'm going to fix things around here, so that hopefully they could retain some of their votes. The problem is that even if Carney comes in, I think people are so fed up with woke. People are so fed up with the spending, and the taxing, and the scandals. I don't think there's any saving the Liberals, no matter what they do at this point. I don't believe in my heart of hearts that Justin Trudeau is even seen by his party as the prime minister anymore. I think that somebody else is calling the shots. And we're just running out the clock. Like, you might as well start saying Trudeau's gone, because there's nothing happening in Parliament. Nobody's doing anything. It's shut down. Parliament's at a standstill. And as soon as they resume, it's election time. And it is happening before October. Anybody who says at this point that we're waiting till October, boy, how? I'm not saying it isn't possible. Okay? Because at this point, anything's possible. When you look at the behavior of our government, anything's possible. But how would they limp through? Like, do you guys realize how devastating today was? Like, today was like DEFCON 5 in Canadian politics. I've been on 2 live streams today. I had plans to do a single video today and put out some content for the rest of the week. I thought, we're getting ready for Christmas season. Things are winding down. We haven't been doing anything since September because, well, really, we haven't been doing anything since early summer because Parliament went on summer break. And then as soon as they came back, they were shut down. So really, we haven't reported on much since early June. And then all of a sudden today, it's like bang, bang, bang. Here's another video to talk about. Here's another thing to talk about. Look at what these guys did. Look what's happening over here. Look at Trudeau getting pushed out. Look at the rumors going around that he's going to leave. Look at Pierre talking about things. Look, Jagmeet Singh has now said something. It's all over the place. Parliament literally crumbled today out of left field. And this is it. Anybody who says now it's not going to happen, I understand. You don't want to be naive. You don't want to set yourself up for disappointment. And look at Aquadude. Nothing like it in Parliament today. It was friggin' chaos. It was unbelievable. Other YouTubers were streaming for multiple hours, saying something's going to happen, something's going to happen, something's going to happen. I cut the stream once, question period started to wind down. What was really funny about question period was you had Karina Gould, Karen coming out saying, we're going to reveal our plan for the fiscal fall update. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. And then as soon as things wound down, they all ran away and hid and said, no, we're not going to do it today. It's just like a liberal. Can't spell liberal without lie. I mean, doesn't this speak volumes about how things need to change in our political system? How broken this is, that they're given the ability to just duck and cover and run away like this, that they're able to stall everything. They're able to just shut it down. Keep in mind, folks, our tax dollars are paying for this 3-ring circus. I remember being a kid, not knowing a lot about politics. And my old man used to watch Question Period back in the Mulrooney Chrétien days. And he used to say it was kindergarten recess time back then, listening to people squabble in the House of Commons. But what we saw today, if anybody outside of Canada was watching our political system at work, that's an embarrassment. And this is where I say that when we get into campaign mode, when other parties start coming around looking for your votes, I mean, at this point, there's only one party that really is going to get those votes by the looks of it. But this is where we have to start asking them. And I've said it before on streams. I know I sound like a broken record, but don't you guys think or agree that this is where we should be asking them? What are you going to do with a super majority to ensure that this kind of behavior cannot continue when it's our tax dollars that are funding it? if I don't go to a job, I don't get paid, right? If I don't perform at my job, I don't get paid. Wouldn't it be nice? All you guys working jobs, all you guys working multiple jobs to keep your lights on, to keep food in the fridge. Wouldn't it be nice if you could just sit at home all day and do nothing and still get paid and keep your job? In fact, go back at one point and give yourself a raise and then go home and get more money for doing nothing. You could write off everything you do going into your job, your food, your expenses, your fuel, your living costs. Trudeau's economy, $5 super chat. I thought I heard they can be in contempt for not answering any questions in the House. They could be, but again, this is where I've said all of the bills that exist in the House of Commons right now are there to benefit them. Politics is now a bought and paid for business. It is not for us. It is not for the people. I'm shocked we haven't had something akin to the French Revolution, where we've stood up and said, enough of the royalty. We're done. I don't understand how anybody can sit back anymore and watch this. And I'm not condoning violence, YouTube. Keep that in mind, okay? Not saying anything negative here. But how do we get to this point where people are just sitting back saying, yeah, it's fine. I'm going to go to my job. I'm going to pay 40% of my check to taxes. And the government can just have this three-ring circus. They cannot answer questions. They cannot participate by giving paperwork to the RCMP when asked to do so. They can just prorogue Parliament and hang around and still get their paychecks and still go on vacations, still spend time with their families, still enjoy themselves, not have to answer for any of the corruption, any of the scandals, any of the theft. The leaders don't have to leave because they can't be voted out because they altered the bills. This is a mafia. It's a mob. That's what the government's turned into. You remember the old days where they had to crack down on the mafia in the United States because the mafia was essentially running the country? It's just moved into a different brand now. It's no longer gangsters. It's politicians. They're the mafia. They've run government over the last few decades with these bills that protect them, that allow them to steal from us, that allow them to trample over our rights, to freeze our bank accounts, to have absolute reign over us while we are essentially battery farms that slave away to keep funding their narcissistic behavior and their lavish lifestyles. I mean, what are we doing here? What are we doing? So when the conservatives come to my house, I'm not telling you guys what to do. Please don't ever think I'm telling you what to do. But when the conservatives come to my door and say, boy, Derek, we'd really love your vote, I'm going to tell them, you're going to have to give me some guarantees here. You're going to have to fix this broken system. Pierre's always saying Trudeau broke Canada. Yeah, he did. He's broken it worse than anybody else. However, what are you going to do to not just cut taxes and how much we're giving you? What are you going to do to ensure this doesn't happen again? That's what I want. I love all the things that Pierre's talking about. I love not paying extra tax. It's just theft. I don't want to pay carbon tax. I don't want to pay too much income tax. I don't want to get taxed for making more money in overtime. I don't want those flawed systems taking money away from my family. But at the same time, Pierre, what are you and your party doing to ensure that future governments can't dodge questions? They don't have to produce documents when they're told to do so. That they can just show up to their jobs and not do anything and still get paid. What are we doing to put an end to that? What are we doing about parliamentary privilege so that when another leader wants to siphon our money off and pad their pockets, they go to jail? What are we doing to fix that? Where are we going to see audits? I've talked about it before. I want audits. I want forensic audits. Chrystia Freeland doesn't deserve the ability to step down and walk away. I want a forensic audit. Miss $7,000 a month for grooming. I want jail for anybody who's broken the law. Why? Because if I break the law, if I don't pay my taxes, I go to jail. The same laws should be in effect for our representatives. That's it. I'm not asking for any special privileges. I'm just saying that if it's a law for me, it's a law for them. I don't see anything wrong with that. Mr. Steal Your Blocks, $2 super chat. Let's take back this country. Election now. Yeah. We need results. If all that happens with the next government is they come in and they get rid of some taxes, they reduce our costs, that's just appeasing the plebs. And I'm not shitting on the conservatives here. Please don't think I'm doing that. But I'm just saying, if all they do is say, hey, guess what? We're on your side. You're not paying as much now. But we're still paying for corruption. That system still exists that allowed this to go on. That has to be changed. We have to change it. Trudeau's trying to distract from the fact that Ronan Farrow is coming after him, I think. I don't know what he's trying to do anymore. I don't think he's that smart. Daphne's got it on the head here. We have to raise the bar. Absolutely, we got to raise the bar. When people say Jagmeet Singh's never going to call an election, if you guys want to have a laugh, you guys want to have a chuckle, it's Christmas, right? Let's have a laugh. Look at this. I love Justin Trudeau's ego Twitter account because it's so funny. This afternoon, Jagmeet Singh said it was time for me to go. Ironically, the only person who can make that happen is Jagmeet Singh. Lucky for me, he's so corrupt, he'll say one thing and the cameras are on and then support me behind closed doors. Let's take a listen to what Blabbermouth here had to say, because it's pretty funny. Let's go.
And instead of focusing on these issues, Justin Trudeau and the Liberals are focused on themselves. They're fighting themselves instead of fighting for Canadians. For that reason, today I'm calling on Justin Trudeau to resign. He has to go. And instead of focusing on these issues, Justin Trudeau and the Liberals are focused on themselves. They're fighting themselves instead of fighting for Canadians. For that reason, today I'm calling on Justin Trudeau to resign.
He's calling on Justin Trudeau to resign. But he's not calling for no confidence. Do you guys see the difference? Please resign so I can stick around. Please, don't make me have to do this, Justin. Trudeau's a commie, another $5 super chat. Thank you so much. PP won't do anything for years. He needs that power to fix the country. When they're about to lose majority, then he will see, or then that's when we'll see real change. But that's where I say Trudeau's a commie. That's where I say this should be opening people's eyes that this is a business. It's just another corporation at this point. The whole point of government is to better life for the people that pay the taxes into the system, the people that voted them into their power positions as public servants. Their job is to work for us. And unfortunately, every time a new leader gets in, whether they're good or bad, their agenda is on the top of the list. What is it we wanted to do as a party? It's never what did the people want us to do? It's what are we doing and why are we doing it? Well, we got to pay back the people who funded us. We've got to push some values for what our party stands for. We have to try and put in some benefits so that when we're gone, we're still reaping those benefits as a party. This is where I say that a lot of these bills are put in place to benefit them, not us. When people get into office, it should start being, what is it the people asked for us to do again? How do we get that done? How do we do a little bit better? What should we do when we're done doing that? That's the way it should work. It's never going to, but it should. Jason with the $6.99 super chat. The Pew Pew banner, LeBlanc is now finance minister. I'm going to get into that, Jason, but thank you so much for the $6.99 super chat. Savage Science, $5 super chat. I have a new shirt for you and Tiff to make Canada Canadian again. There you go. That's a good idea. Maybe we'll start doing that. We'll get something going. I'm almost going crazy because it's been such a long day. I feel terrible because when my wife goes to work, when Mrs. Fringe goes to work, I'm here with my 4-year-old. I am stay-at-home dad. But with how crazy it's been today, it's just been notification after notification after notification coming in. I can't believe this all happened in one day. You'll have to forgive me if I'm not on point tonight, guys. I'm a little burnt out from all the craziness today. I probably saw my family for a total of about an hour today while trying to get all this done. I want to highlight this because after everything that's happened today, Justin Trudeau, of course, has his secret meeting. He has his secret cabinet meeting after dodging everybody all day. By the way, he's already made a statement. His people have already made a statement. He will not be in question period tomorrow. So Justin's not even going to go to question period tomorrow. He's going to continue hiding. Keep in mind, I believe it's Wednesday is the last day for Parliament. So Justin's essentially going to go duck his head under a blanket and hide. Does that say he's a leader to anybody? Even people who like him, would that classify as a leader if they can't even show their face in their place of business? Denny with the 279 super chat, NDP doesn't care about the working class. It's shameful. Well, of course they don't. They never have. They care about getting the unions in their back pockets because then they've got unlimited power with their party. They can do whatever they want. Oh, there we go. Where was it? December 17th. Tomorrow is the last sitting day. There you go. So Trudeau's just hiding out. He doesn't want to come out. Radio Reaction's got it. The coward of the country. Sorry, my apologies. I thought it was Wednesday. But Trudeau has some stones because after everything that happened today, he went outside to get heckled. I'm assuming it was Daisy Media that heckled him, that said, "You're not the king of Canada." Linda, thank you for the $2 super sticker. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. He left a meeting where 60 MPs or more told him GTFO. They've had enough. In fact, another MP came out during a news broadcast tonight and said flat out, "We are not unified." I, for one, am one that does not agree with what's happened. I have told Justin Trudeau, as well as a handful of others, he's got to go. It's time to go. Jagmeet Singh said it's time to go. Pierre said it's time to go. All party leaders today said, get out. He doesn't know how to read a room. I don't think he knows how to read, let alone read a room. Justin, thank you for gifting 5 unacceptable fringe memberships to the Patriots Club tonight. Welcome to all 5 of our new Patriots Club members. Very generous. But here's where he's got the stones. Here's where he's got the stones. He has his secret meeting after hiding all day where people are saying, where is he? What's he doing? Is he going to resign? The rumors were flowing. The rumor mill was all up in the air. I was in touch with multiple people in the House today saying, what's going on? What's going on? They'd always tell me, we don't know. we don't even know what's going on. But he leaves this meeting and goes to a fundraiser. This shows you the level of stupidity of Justin Trudeau, the lack of self-awareness, his inability to read a room. He goes to a fundraiser for the Liberal Party. I can't believe that there's morons in this crowd that still cheer him on. Listen to this nonsense.
Bonsoir mes amis, merci d'être ici ce soir. Y a-t-il des libéraux dans la salle? Merci Mona, merci Sachet, merci à Claudette pour l'introduction et de bien nous accueillir ce soir.
Now, before I continue his terrible sound of his voice, if you spent the entire day with 75 to 90% of the country telling you to get out and quit your job, would you be this happy? Would you be this cheerful going to speak in public? Would you even speak in public for that matter? People are saying Diddy, he's waiting for Diddy to call. Yeah, probably. Is he stoned? Probably. Oh, maybe that's where he was today. He got a new haircut. Yeah, he went to get his haircut. Jackass.
Thank you all for being here tonight. It's obviously been an eventful day, and it has not been an easy day. But I wanted to come here tonight and speak with you, dedicated, devoted members of the Liberal Party, because you, not me or any other politician, are the beating heart of this movement.
Okay, first off, shut up, Justin. Second of all, you remember his last cabinet meeting where he was reported to have come out crying when he was done that meeting, that he was shedding tears and it was such a terrible day. He was worried he was going to lose his job. He gave his whole little drama teacher speech. Now he comes out here and he's all, oh, it's been a crazy day, guys, but I'm still here because you guys are the beating heart of this country. If you gave a flying shit about Canada, sir, you would resign. You would get out now. You would leave. You get nothing, you lose. Good day, sir. That is the way it should have gone for Justin today. Give me a break. This is the only guy that believes his party's united. I'll have some of whatever he's smoking.
You are the ones that never shy away from knocking on doors, from making phone calls. Pierre Poilievre is uninterested in building more homes, delivering vital supports, creating good jobs, or even, as we saw with his opposition to our GST tax break, he's opposed to even cutting taxes. That's a given with the Conservative Party. But what makes Poilievre different is that he's willing to actively bet against Canadians and Canada. He says Canada is broken while actually trying his damnedest to break it. See, we're not living in simple times. The world is increasingly complex, unstable, and dangerous.
Because of you. Because you let hundreds of thousands of millions of unvetted immigrants cross our border. You let crime get out of control. The cost of living is out of control. Everything he's talking about here is his fault. Yet he's blaming somebody who's not even in charge of the country. People are talking about the white stains on his tie. I've heard he spends a lot of time on his knees in the house. Maybe he had to make some promises to Jugmeat. Maybe that's where that came from. I don't know. Or is that a pattern? I can't tell.
And in this new global reality, we must all pull together. I love this country.
No, you don't.
I really do.
Do you hear how friggin' fake that is? I'm not going to play the rest, but do you guys hear that? Do you hear how forced and fake that is? I love this country. I really do. That's why I bent it over and told you I wasn't even giving you lube. I was just shoving it in dry, Canada. Give me a break. Listen to that.
Increasingly complex, unstable, and dangerous. And in this new global reality, we must all pull together. I love this country. I really do.
He's a terrible actor. Terrible actor. Somebody had mentioned the Heckling video. Let's pull that up because it's like washing out a terrible taste in your mouth. I know the pleb showed it earlier. Let's show it here. Trudeau coming out now. Again, this is him on his way to his fundraiser, coming out of his super secret meeting. Listen to this. I think it's Dacey that's here. Dacey Media. Good on him if it is. I'll have to confirm with him, but take a listen.
Prime Minister, are you going to remain in office, sir?
No, what gives you the right to continue? What gives you the right to stay in office? Thank you. You failed Canada. You've ruined our country. You're done. Walk away. You don't have an ounce of your father's integrity. At least he walked in the snow. You've ruined this country. Everyone around you is running from you. You're abandoning Christian Real and Sean Fraser. They've all left you. It's time for you to go. It's time for Canada to have an election. You're not the king.
Okay, that's the Prime Minister getting into his motorcade. I do not know who was shouting those questions, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say
Not a journalist. That wasn't a journalist. Next, they're going to say it was Russians. It was Russians that were doing it. It wasn't a journalist, that's for sure. CBC, enjoy it, the last moments of your crumbling empire, because all of you are getting fired. Y'all fired. Unbelievable. I do believe that was Dacey shouting. 100% Chris on Dacey's Facebook page. Good. Isn't it unbelievable that they're still like what you'll notice in the United States? Did you guys see that? I think it's ABC News that has to now pay Trump $15 million and apologize for making false statements against him. Things are starting to turn around, and Trump's doing it right, by the way, because now he's making them force apologies and pay for defamation rather than allowing them to continue spreading fake news. He's had enough of it. And he has said that he's going after all of these companies for all of this kind of behavior, for the misinformation that they're pumping out. They're shutting them all down. People aren't going to be silenced and filtered anymore. These guys still whining that, oh, wasn't a journalist that was shouting at Justin Trudeau? You know what it was? A frustrated Canadian who's had to deal with this smug bastard running around the country, abusing it, slapping it around like a redheaded stepchild, while he treats our tax dollars like his own personal piggy bank. Everybody has the right to scream that at Justin Trudeau right now. I just, yeah, Trudeau's a commie, says Zuck is next. We need a Canadian Trump? I wish. I wish. Even when Kevin O'Leary was talking about running in politics, I was like, yeah, right. Come on. Like, he's a smart businessman, but he's no Trump, I'll tell you that. Canada's the world's ATM machine. It seems to be. It seems to be. You know what's funny is one person mentioned today on stream. I'm sorry if I can't remember who that was off the bat. But somebody had mentioned on stream today, isn't it funny how all of this is happening now because of Donald Trump becoming president of the United States? Whether you love him or hate him, all of this is imploding right now because of the Trump effect. He just look, that's all it took, ladies and gentlemen, to get Trudeau out of office. Threaten a tariff. A tariff is what dismantled Justin Trudeau. Are people propping up Maxime Bernier? Are people saying Max is going to do it? No, he's not. No, he's not. Come on, guys. Look, if you want to vote PPC, you got to know you're splitting the vote at this point, and you're welcome to. It's your vote. You're allowed to do what you want with it, but it's like saying you believe in Santa Claus. You know, like the guy can't even get a seat. I keep saying this. Get a seat and we'll talk. You know, start doing something. Come on, do math. Do something. And I'll start to buy in, but I'm not saying Max has bad ideas or that he didn't show up during the Freedom Convoy or that he's a terrible human being, but guys, he can't get his seat. Gospel saying it's not worth a wasted vote. It's really not. And again, I'm not going to say that you can't vote for the PPC or you're terrible if you vote for you're allowed to vote however you want in this country. That's your God-given right. And I'm not going to say that you're not allowed to like the PPC. I've admitted publicly, I voted for the PPC in the last election. Why did I vote PPC? Because I threw away my vote. I knew I was throwing away my vote. But as a Canadian citizen, it was my civic duty to go and vote. And I wasn't giving it to O'Toole. I sure as hell wasn't giving it to the NDP. And I would have to go outside and sign up for MAID if I gave it to Justin Trudeau. So I gave it to the PPC. I think that when I hear Max speaking, like, sure, I love his ideas. I've spoken with Max. I ran into Max at Winnipeg Airport in the security line, and he recognized me before I knew who he was, but like that he was there. I was just minding my business. And then all of a sudden I'd say, hey, how's it going? We had a drink and had a chat while waiting for our flights. Nice guy. I don't want him running my country. He can't even get a seat. So I'm sorry if I've pissed off any PPC bros. I get the threats all the time from them. Oh, you're not down with the PPC. You're not who I thought you were, bruh. That's okay. That's okay. I think Jason Levine's running for PPC. There it is. Kind of like they said at the end of The Dark Knight, you know. He's what everybody wants, but not what we need right now. I think people like the idea of Max, but they don't want Max, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? Is Danielle Smith still has the ad of Alberta's calling? If yes, then it should be stopped. She took that down ages ago. No, she doesn't have that. She got rid of that ages ago. It's okay. We can agree to disagree and still be friends. Yes, of course. I remember. You remember? I remember. Here's the thing about Alberta's calling that a lot of people don't realize is that people thought that was Danielle saying immigrants. That was Danielle saying everybody come to Alberta. No, she was looking for skilled workers. She was looking for tradespeople, millwrights. She was looking for engineers. She was looking for doctors. She was looking for anybody with a skill to help grow the province. That's what Alberta was calling for. She was basically saying that if you have a trade, if you live in a province that's burying you under the ground right now and putting their boot on your neck, come to Alberta because we got work and you can have a better living here. Many people misinterpreted it as, hey, the doors are open. That's not what Danielle meant. There it is. Danielle wants carpenters, plumbers, and doctors. Turd has the balls to show up at the Terry Fox High School the other day. I saw that. And those kids were screaming. They didn't want anything to do with them. Max is right on a lot of issues. He's just not PM material. I trust a career politician over anyone else. I don't trust any politician. I don't. You guys shouldn't either. And the reason I say that is because when you tell somebody you trust them, they got you right where they want them, or right where they want you. Sorry. Again, lack of sleep here, folks. Politicians should never feel comfortable. They should never feel like they have you where they want you. They should always feel like if they make one false move, their career is over. That's how it should be. Because if they don't feel that way, they're not doing their job. Can you please 100% of the people all the time? No, you can't. But you need to be able to hold account to people that are making poor decisions. Danielle Smith has made bad decisions, and I've held her to account on those things, and her and I still talk afterwards. Never had a problem with it. In fact, she welcomes it. She welcomes criticism. That's what a leader does. People who always say, don't criticize Pierre, don't rock the boat. We don't want the vote getting split. I had somebody actually telling me that they thought in my comment section that I have the ability on this tiny channel to split the vote in the next federal election by calling out Pierre on some of his nonsense. First off, I'm flattered. I am truly flattered that you think I possess that kind of might. Now, I'll be honest, keeping the universe rotating on its axis every year is a big enough job for the fringe. But to think that I could split the vote, come on. Come on. I am the kingmaker. That's maybe what we should change that to unacceptable kingmaker on this channel. But again, I talk to Pierre's people. I talk to other folks in government. I've said things about Stephanie Kusi on this channel. She's my MP, and I've had her on the channel and still talk with her, and they welcome the criticism. It's part of their job. You can't. How do I say this without offending viewers? You can't idolize politicians. You can't let them get comfortable, or else we're going to end up right back here. If you don't think it's possible, look at the last 10 years. There were a lot of people, not us, but a lot of people that held Trudeau on a pedestal. Oh, he's so charismatic. He's just like his father. That should have been the first red flag. Oh, he's going to do so many great things for Canada. Everybody loves him. Oh, let's vote for him. Now look at what it's done for us. Worshipping an idol. I see it all the time with the pleb, and I don't want to be mean to the pleb because I like the pleb. I've had him on the show. I still chat with him. So it's no criticism, like negative criticism of the pleb, but I've seen a lot of homoerotic pictures of Pierre Poilievre on his Twitter feed where he goes through AI and has Pierre looking like Arnold Schwarzenegger and stuff. I don't understand that. I really don't get it. This false idealizing of politicians. First off, it's a little creepy. Second of all, because it's kind of an unhealthy obsession. And I know that plebs doing it because you got to get out there on social media. You got to get people talking. Look, you're talking to a guy with a marketing degree. I understand how you got to put your name out there and just people talking is better than people not talking. But it's a little creepy. It's a little creepy. It's you can't worship your politicians. Vote for them, like them, ask questions, and hold them to account when they trip over their feet because they're going to. They're going to. We want to talk about comfortability. Look at what's going to happen when Pierre becomes prime minister with his super majority. You don't think he's going to get comfortable? He's going to do great things for Canada. I'm not going to lie. I know he's going to do great things for Canada. But do you think that every single decision that man makes, you're going to agree with? If you think yes, or if you say, shh, don't say those things, Fringe. Do you remember when Stephen Harper got elected with his majority government and everybody thought Stephen Harper was the best thing since sliced bread? I still like Stephen Harper. I don't have a problem with Stephen Harper. But there were a lot of things he did that I didn't agree with. China, for one. I won't get into everything he did with China, but a very large portion of why I don't like Stephen Harper's political takes on things sometimes. It has to do a lot with China and what his dealings were with China. And see, Sailor Jerry, I don't trust Pierre. Well, that's okay. You shouldn't trust any political leader. Trust is a very sacred thing. It's a very sacred thing. If people said to me, like I've seen people come in and say, Fringe, I trust you to be honest with us. I trust you to deliver the goods and always speak the truth. But you shouldn't trust me because you don't know me, if that makes sense. You shouldn't trust me with your children. Well, if you've seen mine, but it's just a joke. But you shouldn't trust me with your kids. You shouldn't trust me with your money. You shouldn't trust me with your livelihoods. You know why? You don't know me. Now, I can sit here and say I've got all the best intentions for everybody. But again, even if you're in a household where you're married to somebody, is your spouse happy with you 100% of the time when you make decisions? Do they agree with everything you do? Do they nod and smile, or do you guys never have a fight or a disagreement? Ask yourself that. Be honest with yourself, because that's what we're going to get with our government. That's the way people behave. Oh, we triggered somebody. It's okay. It's okay. It's I feel bad when we live in a society where mere words can hurt people like that. Could you imagine being so weak in the world that words ruin your day, that they hurt you? And it's not a stab at that person, but like anybody who gets like this, I get it all the time when people are like, I didn't really like what you said here. It ruined my day. I was crying in front of my television. Really? If that's the case, you should probably seek some professional help, because if mere words are going to upset your day, boy, you're in for a rude awakening when life continues. Got to get a little tougher. Got to get a little tougher. These Gen Zs and Gen A's, the Jedi. It's not, you know, that's what they're calling it now. Gen Alpha. Gen A is the new generation. I call it Gen A. Only have eyes for you. I'm so glad Bubbles has two eyes blinking. Not sure what we're talking about there, but I thought it was funny. I thought we should take a look at that comment. Is Pierre going to do more things you disagree with compared to Trudeau? No. Maybe. I don't know. Well, no, no, because Trudeau's done a lot. It's not just the things that I disagree with Trudeau. Trudeau's also stolen from me. He's abused us. He's frozen accounts. He's acted like a dictator. I don't think anybody could screw up on any level as high as Trudeau has. We're talking about Bubbles. He dressed up as the Green Bastard, you know. Comes from parts unknown. Gotta love me the Trailer Park Boys. My sister-in-law, when she got married in Nova Scotia, or no, she got married here. When she was at a wedding in Nova Scotia with my other brother-in-law, and Bubbles was in the wedding party. They know Mike Smith's brother. It was his wedding. Bubbles was in that party there. Hey, where's Randy? Why don't you go have another cheeseburger there, Randy? Love Trailer Park Boys. It's Pierre's going to make some decisions that we don't like, and I'm prepared to accept that. We should all be prepared to accept that. It doesn't mean he's going to be a bad prime minister. That's not what I'm getting at. And everybody's got to, this is again where I say the words, guys, they got to stop offending you. They got to stop. This is how we grow as a country, by having discourse, by saying that we're going to be honest with ourselves, right? Like if we all sit here with rose-colored glasses and say, oh, it's going to be so perfect, it's going to be a utopia. Sure, it's going to be great that Justin's gone. It's going to be great to see the tax get axed. It's going to be great to save on our income taxes. It's going to be great to see homes getting built and crime to get out of here and immigrants to get the boot and immigration to slow down in general in the country. All those things are great. But to admit that it's always going to be great, that everything's going to be perfect all the time, you're just setting yourself up for disappointment. Again, look at your relationships in life. Even if you're single, think about a past relationship. Did you agree on everything you did 100% of the time? Did your significant other agree with you 100% of the time? Without any conflict, that always, yep, I totally agree with you 100%. I think what you want to do here or what you're saying or what you think is spot on all the time. I should bring Mrs. Fringe on to talk about that, because I guarantee you I get at least one foreign object hurled at my head a week. At least one. It's, you can't make people happy 100% of the time. That's the first thing I was told in business school. You can't please 100% of the people all the time, and the person who tries to is a fool. And Pierre knows that. He's a smart man. Gemini, thank you for popping in. We'll see you Friday. Well, here's part of the problem. At least 2 terms to make a dent. I agree, but I'd like to see term limits similar to the United States on Canadian politicians. I think that the fact that we don't have term limits on our politicians is a huge, huge misstep. I think that, again, part of the problem when you go over 2 terms is that people get comfortable. There it is. Politician's a politician's a politician. Nobody's expecting perfection. We just want a prime minister that cares about the people. And I think we're going to get that with Pierre. I do think we're going to get that with Pierre. What I'm talking about, and the reason I keep reminding it in these streams, is because there's so many times, guys, again, I've told you, I go through the comment sections on videos. I go through the comment sections on live streams. I go back and look at this entire chat because it moves very quickly during the stream. As soon as it's up, I go back and I read every comment when it's done, just to make sure nobody feels like they're missed. And I see it all the time with people going, Pierre's going to save us. Pierre's going to make things so great. And my life is going to be easy again. And I start going, oh man, I feel for that person, because yes, some things are going to get better. Do you think food prices are going to come down when Pierre axes the tax? Can we start with that? Do you think food prices are going to come down? Do you think the cost of groceries in general is going to come down, the cost of your goods? Do you think retail's all of a sudden going to slash their prices? It's already happening in the United States. Donald Trump has already said, I can cut the taxes. I can't make retailers change their prices. There's a lot of yeses in there. There's a lot of yeses in there. I see them. I mean, I'd love for them to come down. I'd love for them to come down. But we were talking about it the other day that these retailers are going to start saying, well, what they've been using the carbon tax as an excuse. They've been saying, well, with the cost of inflation, the carbon tax, the cost of our employees, there's a reason we have to sell our goods at these prices. Yet when you go into stores, especially this time of year, you'll notice a lot of things that you buy that are high priced are all of a sudden on sale for half the cost. Well, if they can afford to sell it at that price, how come they can't sell it at that all year round? The prices may trickle down a tiny bit, but I'm going to give you an example because it's one of the things I've kept my eyes on a lot when we buy groceries. I used to pick up 12 cans of Mountain Dew Zero. Why? Because I love destroying my body. Okay. I'm not going to say because I think it's good, because everybody will start throwing that it's so unhealthy in the comments. I like destroying my body. Okay. There. Problem solved. It used to be $3.97 for a 12 pack. It is now almost $6.50 for a 12 pack of cans, bordering $7. They are not going to lower those cans when the carbon tax is gone down to $3.50 again. It's not going to happen. You might see them go from $6.50 down to $5.49 or $5.25. And I get that if they do that with every product, it adds up, but they're still going to take advantage wherever they can to make a profit. They're already doing it right now with this GST pods. They raised the prices. Costco's another one. I used to be able to go in there and buy a big bag of Miss Vicky's salt and vinegar chips for my kids for their lunches. And we'd buy the big bag because it would last all week. I didn't have to buy multiples or have chips go stale or anything like that. We could just split it up throughout the week and a half, and it was good. Those chip bags were $4.99. They're now $8. I guarantee you it's not coming down. If anything, it'll go up by 10%, probably. Well, see, I used to think Costco was a ripoff, but I'll tell you, when you have 3 kids, it's really not. In contrast to what I spend on groceries going to regular stores, even places like Walmart to save money, I still save on meals by going to Costco. Drink antifreeze. There's some good advice. That's it. You can afford chips? I know, right? Like we make sacrifices. You're not going to see store prices come down. And what I'm saying when I talk about not making people happy all the time is that the people who leave the comments in the chat that Pierre's going to save things, that Pierre's going to change it all around, give them time, it's going to change. When they see that the prices don't come down, those people are going to hate Pierre. They're going to blame Pierre. They're not going to blame the retailers. They're going to blame Pierre. It's the cycle of how our politics work. People in the States are already blaming Donald Trump. I got a message last week from somebody saying, didn't I tell you Donald Trump was going to be terrible? He just said he can't fix grocery prices. Well, it's free market. No, he can't. He can't tell them what to do. Unless they were to put in some form of legislation, similar to what you call usury laws when it comes to interest rates on credit cards, with retailers to say, you're not allowed to charge over this amount of your profits, or you're not allowed to have such and such markup on prices. I don't know how they'd work that in. This is why I'm not in politics. But unless they put a bill forward that said, we're taking off this tax, so you're not allowed to ramp up your costs unless you can prove that you're only making certain percentage of profit. But if that were the case, what creates more business for us? What creates more companies saying, I want to work harder and grow my business? If there's a cap on it, what's to stop people from trying to strive to do better or provide more? Here's the thing about this. I see this all the time. It doesn't matter what you do, unless you're eating vegan, and even then that's a problem. There's always going to be something in one product that's not good for the other. I'm going to tell you right now, I did keto a couple of years ago, just before the pandemic actually. I did keto. And it was the healthiest I had ever been in my life. My blood pressure was down, my cholesterol was down. I dropped 30 pounds, and it was the easiest diet plan I'd ever been on in my life. Ever. And I keep saying I got to get back onto it, but to be honest, it's, again, YouTube, 3 kids running around. It's tough to focus on that stuff. I'll get there. Besides, I got to make sure I stay this way so everybody can call me fat in the comments, because it's there all the time. I really don't care. It's yeah, no carbs. But people always said don't do keto because of the fats that are in it. Oh, the red meat, the terrible things that are in it. There's people like Jordan Peterson who do the carnivore diet. It's the right fats. You don't want trans fats, but there's certain fats you can have that are good for your body. There's certain ways to balance things. But anything you eat these days is going to have crap in it. There it is. Eat whatever you want in moderation. I mean, if you sit around and eat a loaf of bread every day, then yeah, you're gonna look like. Well, I'm not gonna name a name, because then people are gonna say, "Oh, you're shaming that person." You're gonna be unhealthy. If you eat ice cream every single day, you're gonna bulk up. That's just the way it is. If you do sugars, if you do all these things, you're gonna get diabetes. I hear it all the time. I usually drink a bottle of Prime when I'm on stream, and people say, dude, don't drink Prime, it's terrible for you. And I go, well, the cans are, because the cans are the energy drink. The bottles, the plastic bottles of Prime, that's coconut water. There's no fats in it. There's no sugar in it. There's no anything. In fact, there's vitamins in it. I have taken a bottle of that to my doctor and shown him the label and said, is this as bad for me as you think? Because again, the ingredients in it, I don't know much about the ingredients. I just read the nutrition label. And he says, this stuff isn't actually that bad. I said, okay, good. And he says, I wouldn't drink 7 of them a day. But he says, you have 1 or 2 a day? He says, that's fine. I don't drink coffee. I've never had a cup of coffee in my life. So that's like my coffee. You can walk my calendar down to Daphne's house. We're gonna, Steve, we're gonna have you guys over at some point during the holidays. I was talking to Daphne earlier, and so we got to have you guys over at the arcade throughout the holidays, and I'll get you guys your calendars. Good news is now that Canada Post is back to work, I can actually mail out those calendars for those who won them and get things moving again. So that is going to happen. We need to figure out healthy, sane food, not gross, not crap other 18 countries won't allow in. Well, we need to figure out what works for us is all. Like keto worked for me, that doesn't mean it works for everybody else. The problem with any diet is that you're either going to have to you have to stick to it, or else you just end up back or worse. Metaphorical, are we going to have an election? Yeah, we are. We talked about that at the beginning of the stream. Over an hour ago. No coffee ever? No, never. Never. I've never had a coffee. Never in my life. I can't, I used to be a bit of a shit when I was a kid. I got in a lot of trouble. I used to have adults screaming at me all the time, and you could always smell the coffee on them. I guess I just never wanted it. I'm not a fan. Not a fan. Never had coffee. I don't smoke. I don't drink. Well, I haven't drank in 4 years. And even then I didn't do it that often. Imagine the backlog Canada Post will need to shuffle through. How many do you think are going to be damaged because of disgruntled employees? Yeah. Well, that's why. So even though I'm going to ship out those calendars, I'm going to wait until after Christmas to get those shipped out. Like a week after Christmas, I'll get them out. You don't drink, you don't smoke. What do you do? I just keep this universe spinning for you guys. That's it. Takes a lot of work, but hey, you guys are worth it. Again, when it comes to election, before we get into it, we'll wrap up with a Q&A like we always do. But before we get into that, let's talk about the election. Like I said, it looks like election is going to happen in the spring. The NDP have said that they are comfortable and committed to voting on confidence by the spring. I don't even think we're going to get there. I think it's going to happen when we come back from winter break. Either way, I think March is going to be what we're looking at for an election at this point. I think it's what we're going to see. I've been sober for almost 18 years in January. I'm so happy to hear that. You know, the problem with alcohol, it gets you into a lot of trouble. I know there's people that ruin their lives over drinking, that fall asleep on Discord and pass out, that lose their marriages, that lose their health, or it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Not going to do that. But the good news, folks, yes, an election is on the loom. It's coming. Again, this week is going to get insane. It's going to be insane. Even though tomorrow's the last day, you're going to be hearing news articles. You're going to see people talking all throughout winter. There's going to be a lot of stuff to focus on this channel. Again, I'll be covering everything, even in the rumor mill. So when you come in and say, hey, this is clickbait, we're not going to stay with me because we're covering it all so that you guys have the whole picture. Whatever I see, you guys are going to see, because this is an exciting time. We're getting into exciting ground here. We've had 10 years of abuse. 10 years of being tossed around by this prime minister, of being stolen from, abused, manipulated, lied to. It's time for us to enjoy a little bit, isn't it? It's time for us to win a little. So even if it's speculation, even if it's rumor mill, even if it's just watching good old Justin falling down a flight of stairs, I will be showing it here on the channel. We'll be talking about it all the way up till we see an election. Mystical's chiming in. I can't wait to see Trudeau leave. I hope he takes his family with him to Costa Rica and never returns. Here's the problem with him leaving. I wanted him to lose horribly in an election, and I want him to go to jail. In fact, how the Prime Minister went to jail is now in the works from Unacceptable French Books. I'm hoping to have that out in the spring, just in time for election. So while we will never see Justin Trudeau go to jail, by my guess, you guys can at least read it in that book. I think it's going to be a fun one to end that series, the How the Prime Minister series. Rico Suave, who else is going to jump ship? That's what I'm waiting to see as well. Derek doesn't need to drink or smoke. Right on for him. He has the brain on his shoulders. Well, it's in my skull. It's not really on my shoulders, but I've quit smoking for over 10 years. You know, that makes me happy to hear that. Congratulations. What about the list? Yeah, we want to see the list. Speaking of lists, anybody who wanted to pick up a copy of the Young Kids Guide to Grooming, our book that got pulled due to some legal troubles, I'm happy to report, I meant to talk about it earlier on stream, it's being reinstated. We got through some legal stuff over the last few weeks, and it will be republished and available for purchase hopefully by tomorrow on Amazon. So keep your eyes peeled if you wanted to get your hands on that book. It talks about lists in that book. It's a very funny book. Unfortunately, due to some legal ramifications, we had to pull it for a little while. I didn't think it was going to see the light of day again. But just a reminder for you guys, that should be available on Amazon, hopefully shortly. Do you have one or so at home? Are you talking about the book? I have one copy of that book and it's mine, but we'll get some. We'll get some. So keep your eyes open. The Young Kids Guide to Grooming will be available for purchase again, hopefully by tomorrow. I'm hoping so. Let's wrap up with some Q&A. Let's throw it in. Let's have some fun. Let's have a laugh. Throw in some fun Q&A stuff. Let's end today on a high note. It's been a great day for us. We've been getting great news. Christmas came early. Let's jump in. If you guys have any questions, ask me anything as long as it's appropriate. Keep it light. Let's have some fun. Did the Mendocino privilege motion pass? I'm not sure. Have you watched the Apple Plus series For All Mankind? It should be People Kind. I'm just joking. Flip version of history with the Russians landing a man on the moon first. Well worth the binge and family friendly. It makes me feel good. I'll check it out. 15 years sober, tax breaks at the liquor stores. Doug Ford needs a buck of beer, yet never had anything for me. Well, there you go. I've never drank booze ever because I have drove for 47 years. Never did drugs ever. Good for you, Gerald. Happy to hear that. I can't have Mrs. Fringe jump in. She's actually out like a light because she's up early tomorrow. She's got meetings all week long. So she won't be joining the stream, unfortunately. What's your favorite muscle car? You know, it was my very first car that I ever had. Camaro. In fact, I plan to buy another Camaro once I move. Love that car. Lost it in an accident. Somebody ran a red light and totaled it. I had an 88 Berlinetta. Loved it. Does Freeland thinks everyone is going to forget her part in what she did to Canada? I hope not. And we're going to keep our eyes on that again. Like I said, I want to see her audited. I'd love to see her go to jail. Don't think that'll happen. It'll be interesting to see what she does. Again, she's no longer finance minister. She's stepping back, but she's maintaining her seat as a liberal. So again, things are about to get fun, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be chaos up until they call an election. So again, this is why I'm saying it's not going to happen in October. We're not going to make it to October. But the gloves are off and the fists are going to be flying. So keep your eyes peeled and your ears to the tracks. Things are going to get messy. What do you think about the lost nuke they were looking for in the States? Scary. I'm sure they'll find it. Hopefully not too late. What about the drones? Are they... Elon knows about the drones. Come on. Will Freeland go back to Soros, do you think? I think, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if she didn't take up a position with the World Economic Forum, like a full-time position. We'll see. A lot of people are speculating, including Thomas Mulcair, that she's going to run against Trudeau for the next election. I don't see why she would do that. I don't think she stands a snowball's chance in hell. But hey, I've seen crazier things happen. Have you ever been to Niagara Falls, Ontario? No, I haven't. The furthest into Ontario I've been is Ottawa. And I was there for a couple of days when I was invited to the House of Commons. Gorgeous city. It's just too bad Justin Trudeau's there. Potato or banana? You're talking about eating, right? There's nothing sexual here. Bananas taste better. Sorry, I like bananas. Strawberry and banana ice cream or frozen yogurt. Definitely the way to go. I had a purple Firebird. That car was fun. There you go. Loved my Camaro. I like the new Camaros. I really like the new Camaros. With the extensive gaming cabinet collection, have you played Diablo 2? I played a lot of Diablo 2. I'm not a fan of the other Diablos. I'm not a fan of 3 or 4. Don't mind 2, though. I didn't play the remaster. The GTO Judge is a classic, Ingrid. You know your cars. That's awesome. Do you think I could run Canada better than the Liberals or NDP, says Gerald? I think you asked that on Friday. Like I said in that answer, I think my 4-year-old could run better than anybody that's currently representing us. So yeah, anybody could. Let's see some floor crossers, maybe. I think we're going to see a couple. Again, if that party can't unify, I think it's highly possible. Wouldn't it be great if we saw some people cross the floor before the end of February and Jugmeat didn't get his pension? If they rushed the election on purpose just so he couldn't get his pension? Wouldn't that be great? Will Mark Fraser go back to selling used fridges? No, he's going to retire and just take it easy. I think he'll probably take a consulting job or a think tank job or something along those lines. That's usually what they go into. I see a lot of talk about the drones. I don't want to get too much into the drones because it's been beaten to death already. Have you been to Europe? Yes. My father's from Scotland. I've been to Glasgow. Been to Wales. I've been to basically all over the UK. Gorgeous part of the world. Isn't she still deputy prime minister? I believe, again, Maple Kitty, I haven't heard anything saying she's not. Again, I'm going to be curious as the days go on what comes out. Have you tried the new Delta Force game? No. I've been playing the new Indiana Jones game a lot. So I really haven't been touching anything else. Big fan of the new Indiana Jones. Let's find some more questions. Let's find some more Q&A. These are good Q&As, guys. So keep them up. Let's see people still talking about cars. More people talking about drones. Why accept floor crossers? They're all supporting everything that's wrong with our country. Listen, Bryce, whatever gets us to an election, Pierre can shuffle and kick them out later. So let them cross. Let them cross. How could Freeland have two positions? Well, again, Deborah, we've talked about this. This is where I say the government's designed to protect them, not us. I asked the same questions about how could Randy Boissonneau get government contracts when he's a sitting MP. There's a lot of things the government does that I question. You know you're old when you go to an antique store and they won't let you leave. Your new collective piece. She resigned from that too. She is just a regular MP now. She wants to focus on her riding. Okay, well, if that's the truth, then there we go. What do I want to talk about? Well, nobody's really ever asked me that before. I'm happy talking about what you guys want to talk about. Did I see Trump's tweets tonight? No, Rico, I haven't had a chance. Like I said, I've been following this Trudeau stuff all day while trying to keep my kids intact and keeping things together. I'll check them out though. Have you played any re-released Resident Evil games? No, I'm not a big Resident Evil guy. I wasn't a fan of the big tank controls and all that. I just never really got into those games. I found them kind of boring, to be honest. If you had a chance, would you go to Greece? Yeah, I'd love to see. I'd love to see Greece. I'd love to see a lot of different parts of the world. Absolutely. Was the Camaro stick or automatic? Unfortunately, that one was automatic. I've always said you can't drive a muscle car unless you're driving a stick. Were the colors for your company unacceptable fringe picked because you are a bad guy from WW2, or are you a New Jersey Devils fan? That's got to be a troll question, isn't it? I mean, guys, we said to keep it appropriate. No, I used to keep a color scheme of red and white because it's Canada. Wow. Sorry, that one flew me for a bit of a loop. Wasn't that a Patriots Club member that asked that too? World's worst gamer? Yeah, let's not throw that one up there again. Let's do better. What else do we have here? Yeah, I get that it was a joke, but here's the problem: when those words go into my chat, this is how I get shadow bans on YouTube. Like that's why. See, the problem is that those words get filtered out of comment sections in videos. They don't in the live streams, and it downgrades the stream. So that's why I've always said try and keep it. No, it's not comedy isn't dead. It's look, I can take a joke more than the next guy, but I'm more concerned about what it does for the channel's reach and what it does for people wanting to watch this later. That's why I've said keep it happy. It's YouTube hates certain words. Have you and Tiffany ever been to Alaska? Beautiful state this summer. No, we haven't been to Alaska, Gerald. A favorite band? There's so many that hold the top spot. God. See, I don't really get a chance to listen to the music I like anymore because I have kids now and they always want to listen to their stuff. My 7-year-old's into this skibbity toilet thing, whatever that is. I'm heading a toilet. I don't know what kids do these days. I was always into like Guns N' Roses, Metallica, Kiss, Led Zeppelin. Like they were all favorites because it's just such good music. Pantera. I could go on. A lot of great bands. Yeah, the YouTube words suck. I wish we could do unhinged streams where are you a Disturbed fan? I'm a little Disturbed, but no, I do like Disturbed. I'm a big fan of Disturbed. Pink Floyd is another. Yep, Pink Floyd's great. I can't forget about good old Waters. That's Floyd's a good band. I spent a lot of my high school days just hanging out listening to Floyd. Pulse. I think it's Pulse. Really good album. Megadeth was good as well. Peace Sells, but Who's Buying was probably one of my favorite albums. Black Sabbath's another good one. I mean, like, and I was born in 1980. So I grew up around like my older cousins were listening to all that classic stuff back in the day, like the Aerosmiths, AC/DCs, Led Zeppelins, and I grew up around that stuff. I remember when I was probably about 7 or 8 years old. My parents had this old, I thought it was like a big cabinet / coffee table. They used to put a bunch of decorative stuff on top of it. And I always just thought it was a piece of furniture. It was an old radio, like those big oak radios people used to have back in the day. And it had a record and an 8-track player in it. And my folks had a whole bunch of old 8-tracks I used to listen to as a kid, like Quiet Riot, Kiss, again, Led Zeppelin, a whole bunch of really cool stuff. Alice Cooper was in there too. Yes, Ingrid. I grew up on that stuff. I love that stuff. I absolutely love that stuff. I could go on for hours about all the good. Today's music, people saying today's music sounds like the 70s and 80s. Today's music, it's you don't even have to have talent. It's all synthesized. It's all, you don't have to have a good voice. You just have to have what the gimmick for selling stuff for the record companies. I don't even know how music artists make money anymore, aside from touring, because everything's on streaming services. I don't know how people get paid anymore. Tragically Hip was another great band. Yep. Slipknot was good. You should be wearing the Trump hat. Yeah. It was fun being a 90s teen. It was fun being a 90s teen. There was a lot of cool stuff that happened in those days. I always say, and I try to do it non-biased, like just when I look back, like if I could have lived in any generation outside of what I grew up in, the 70s would have been it for me. Um, I love looking back at the 70s. Dazed and Confused was one of my favorite movies. It just glorified what the 70s was all about. Um, but when I think about the 90s, I mean, the 80s was cool because they were just trying all these new things, right? Like it was the dawn of VHS, gaming consoles, neon lights, leg warmers, like really funky things. And then as you got into the 90s with the grunge era and baggy jeans and flannel shirts and God, it was such a good time to be alive. Such a good time. And so many bands had great albums in the 90s. Pearl Jam's 10, probably one of my favorite albums of all time. Just because like there's very few albums out there that I can listen to from beginning to end and say that I love every track. Even some of the greats. There's always that one song where it's like, take it or leave it. Pearl Jam 10 was one of the first albums I listened to from beginning to end as a kid, early teenager, and loved it. Loved it. I mean, Iron Maiden's another one. Love me some Maiden. Van Halen was great. Yep. Cell phones kind of, yeah, I've always said, I had a chat with somebody once where they asked me if you could go back in time and take something away that you think people shouldn't have, or change something, what would it be? And I said, I'd go back and stop the iPhone. I would stop because that was the start of apps. That was the start of, um, like cell phones before that were okay. The flip phones, the Nokias, those were all okay because it was just a matter of making a phone call. Like my children now can't even grasp the concept of landlines, having to stand next to the phone and talk to somebody or having a second line. Like it sounds foreign to them. In fact, when I had my arcade fully constructed before we were um any more political news? No, Jancor, we're in Q&A. We're winding down. Um when I had my arcade fully put together before we were selling the house, I have a payphone that I bought that is mounted on the wall. It's currently sitting in my storage, but we had it connected, and the kids found it weird that, you know, um, I'd get calls on it because I'd give people that I wanted to, give that number to out, and they'd call, and it was hilarious. It was a hilarious gag that my kids couldn't get behind a working payphone and what it meant to actually have to stand there on the phone and not walk all over the house with hands free. So, I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff um, that kids will never understand. Like even when I was talking on my video the other day about the unfortunate thoughts that came from the Edmonton trip, running into a viewer. Now, again, no issues with that viewer. It was more realizing that, hey, if I'm leaking certain information, things could get really crazy here. But I grew up at a time where I saw the beginning of the internet. Boy, doesn't that make me feel old. I remember being a teenager and being at my friend's house. They had a 14.4 modem on dial-up. You'd yell at your mom for picking up the phone because it would break your internet connection. And you used to sit in chat rooms and people would do get-togethers and LAN parties. And the internet was a trusting place for the most part. When get past 14.4 modems, get a 56K modem area when, porn became a big thing on the internet. And then, everybody turned into creeps, I guess. Things have changed. Cell phones have ruined a lot of things for people because they've taken away from the ability to be sociable. It breaks my heart when I see, like, everything is done on a phone now. You can run your business on a cell phone. You can pay your taxes on there. You can run your banks on there. You can communicate with people. People date on the internet. People meet each other on the internet. People don't go out anymore and socialize. I hear so many people that say, well, I don't know where to meet anybody because, I'll just sign up for something like Tinder, or I'll get on an online community and find somebody. It's like, why don't you just go to a bar and meet somebody? Why don't you go out? Like, why don't friends set friends up with anybody anymore, or go out and talk to people and meet people? You're creating a society of introverts that essentially don't know how to communicate with each other. It's going to result in thinning out our numbers. It's going to be the downfall of humanity, because people aren't going to be making babies. People aren't going to be getting together anymore. Everybody's separated. I always say that I'm so grateful that I've been with Mrs. Fringe since high school, because I can't imagine what dating is like today. I can't imagine going to have out and having to go out and meet people, because it doesn't exist. If you say hi to somebody in public now, they think you're a creep. They think you have a motive behind it. Right? There's no trust in society anymore. If you say hello to somebody at the bar, they're watching their drink thinking you're going to slip something in there, like your Diddy. It's sheer insanity out there in the dating world. I don't know how anybody does it. I really don't. It makes me sad. It makes me feel like we're losing ourselves. We're losing our humanity a little bit. Sad times indeed. Sad times. On that note, ladies and gents, we'll wrap up the stream. I know it's been a long day. It's been a really long day. I wanted to get on tonight. I wanted to talk about election dates. I wanted to talk about what we know that's coming. And again, just remind everybody that, again, no matter whether it's the rumor mill, whether it's factual stuff that's coming out, whatever's coming out, I'm going to keep you guys posted on the regular here on the channel. Keep your eyes peeled. Keep your ears on the track. Whatever comes our way is coming our way. It's going to be a crazy, crazy week this week. Again, guys, join me tonight. See how tired I am? Join me Friday night with Mrs. Fringe here on the channel. We're going to be talking whatever happens this week. We're going to be talking about predictions. We're going to be talking a little bit about Christmas. We're going to have some fun Christmas stuff going on with our last stream before Christmas. This upcoming Friday here on the channel at 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central here on the channel. I hope you guys enjoyed this stream. I hope you guys have a great rest of your evening. If you're anywhere where it's cold, stay warm. Stay warm. Sleep cozy tonight, knowing that Justin Trudeau is crying himself to sleep in the corner tonight because his time is at an end. He's losing. We're winning. He's done. It's over. I had to throw that in there. Have a great night, everybody. Take care of yourself.